First speaker up is Camilla Smith from Appalachia Tapestry Magnet School of the Arts. The title of the speech, Dancing is Not for Everyone.
Have you ever heard of the saying, singing is not for everyone? Well, it's kind of the same thing as saying dancing is not for everyone, which is totally true. I absolutely dislike when people really think they can get down, and they can't. Once on a plaque, I saw a saying that, how should I say it? Caught my attention. It said, if you can walk, you can dance. If you can talk, you can sing. This saying is truly crazy. If you can walk, definitely doesn't mean you can dance. So, are you telling me if this saying was actually true, almost all people could dance? Give me a break. Have you ever seen that person who really tries to dance? You can see it in their facial expression. For example, they dance so hard, they scrunch out their face and close their eyes. It's like they think they're Tina Turner or somebody. Then it's that person at the birthday party you have to pull off the dance floor because they're either embarrassing you or just embarrassing themselves once again. A good example of this would be one of my good friends who just couldn't dance if the human race depended on it. If you say go right, she'll go left. If you say kick left, she'll kick right. That's just one example of a person who cannot dance. Just imagine if over 90% of the country was made up of people who cannot dance. Outstanding dancers such as Michael Jackson or Beyonce knows probably wouldn't even exist. Dance is a form of expressing yourself or telling a story through movement. Without it, the world would just be plain boring. Personally, I'm a dancer, so when I see people trying to boogie, even though it's kind of frustrating, it's still hilarious. Especially when they're doing the scrunchy face and they can't dance. A whole lot of laughter comes into play. Now you know some critical information. Dancing is not for everyone. A little advice for you people who can't dance. You keep dancing your little heart out, but in private, for safety reasons only.
What do you think your dancing embraces about your personality?
Well, I dance a lot, so it's like a real part of me, so like you can't take dancing out of mine.
What can people do to become better dancers?
Practice.
Thank you. Our next speaker up is Leah Boydston from Rudiger Elementary. The title of the speech, How to Survive the 4th Grade.
Hello, my name is Leah. I'm going to give you some tips on how to survive 4th grade. I'll give you 10 simple steps to survive a very long year. Step 1, you have to be very good or you'll get in trouble. In my class, if you're really bad, my teacher will put you on frozen like a grape flavored popsicle. Step 2, don't have a phone in class. If it rings, your teacher will take it and secretly take selfies and post them on Facebook. Step 3, don't just put in any answer on a test because you'll get them all wrong. Then your class will know you as the dumb. Step 4, make sure you're always on task. If not, you'll get all Fs, and when you're supposed to be in high school, you're still sitting in 4th grade. When it's time for lunch, you get stuck because your knees are too big for your desk. Step 5, don't hang out during class. because you'll be sent to the office. The principal might tell you to massage her feet for a whole month. Whew. Step 6. You have to make a good AR score, or you have to write a long summary. If it takes you too long, you might grow a long mountain man beard. Step 7. Get your work done in time, or you'll have to do it on the playground. Then you start crying like a baby wanting its bottle, because you're not done by the time we have to go. Step 8. Don't mumble under your breath, because your teacher will say, "What did you say, young lady?" Then you say, "I'm not a girl, I'm a boy." Then your teacher says, I guess I need glasses." Step 9. Always get an AR book on your level. If not, you look like a drama queen by yelling, "Why? Why? Why?" Because the level's too low and you're not allowed to take a test. Final step. Always enjoy 4th grade. Don't enjoy it too much, because when you walk down the hall skipping and smiling, your classmates will think you've been playing with pixie dust. Poof! Thank you.
What would you say to the dum-dum?
Start paying attention? Start paying attention?
Thank you. Our next speaker is Lydia Shackelford from Community Christian School. The title of the speech, My Discovery Cove Experience.
Where can you go to swim with beautiful dolphins and feed dangerous sharks? Where can you glide over giant manta rays and feed exotic birds? Well, I have the perfect place for you. Discovery Cove. It's a tropical-themed dolphin park in Orlando, Florida. Today, I'm going to tell you about my awesome experience. For my 8th birthday in 2012, I went to Discovery Cove. I was so excited. As soon as my mom and I got into the park, the cool, wet Sunday morning seemed to melt away. I was no longer in Florida. I was on a tropical island. First, we ate breakfast with our dolphin trainers while enjoying the tropical music that was playing in the background. We would be with our trainers the entire day. Then, we put on our wetsuits and prepared to swim with the dolphins. After our trainers introduced the dolphins, these mammals put on a little show. The dolphins made funny noises and swam and splashed around. We also did some tricks with the dolphins and gave them slimy fish as a reward. Yuck. The trainers left us for a little while to let us explore the park. Boy, did we explore it. We went to the tropical aviary where all the exotic birds were kept. It was amazing. I fed birds right on my hand. We then swam down the lazy river, and the slow warm water felt so relaxing. We also swam through a flurry of tropical fish and glided over giant manta rays. I even had an encounter with a sloth and a macaw. Now, the shark encounter. Oh boy, I thought, we're going to be feeding sharks. There was already a man in with the sharks. What was he thinking? Well, luckily, he was a trainer. We were going to interact with him on some steps leading into the tank. The sharks weren't smooth like dolphins. They were rough like sandpaper. He told us that when sharks eat their food, fish and squid, they cough back up some gunk water from the meal. Disgusting, right? Well, one coughed up some of that gunk on my mom. Gross. Next, we visited where they prepare all the animals' food. It was very busy and clean, and lots of people were at work. When we left, our trainers told us that we were going to have our last dolphin encounter. When we got into the water with the dolphins, we took different pictures, rode the dolphins, and did different tricks with them. They were very smooth swimmers. Then, the trainers told us to lock our legs and put our arms out. 2 dolphins came behind me and pushed into the soles of my feet, raising my chest out of the water. This day couldn't get any better. It wasn't long before my mom and I were saying goodbye to our trainers and heading to the aviary one last time. Discovery Cove is an amazing place. I had such a memorable day. I hope you can go to Discovery Cove and see God's wondrous works too.
What would you say to somebody who is afraid to swim with the sharks?
I'd say, you're not going to actually get in the water with them, so just relax and the trainer's with you.
What other places would you like to experience going to?
Maybe kind of like Discovery Cove, something tropical or something.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Landon Snowden from Governor's Charter Academy. The title of the speech, Special Olympics.
Have you heard of the Olympics? Well, did you know there's an Olympics for people with disabilities too? It is called the Special Olympics. Today I'm going to inform you on how I got involved, share my experience as a volunteer, and introduce you to a couple of my favorite athletes. Special Olympics is a great organization for both athletes and the volunteers. See, this is how it was started. My mom started volunteering for Special Olympics 10 years ago. For the first time she started volunteering for Special Olympics, I was still in her tummy. My mom is an audiologist at Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. Twice a year, she and her students and her family, that's where I come in, volunteer for Special Olympics and test the hearing of athletes to make sure if they need hearing aids, they get them. Secondly, I like volunteering for Special Olympics because I get to help people. I have been volunteering for 4 years. One thing I get to do is recruit athletes to come and get their hearing tested. This is when you walk around the campus and bring athletes to the venue. I also get to test the hearing of athletes. My mom shows me how to record the results and work the machines. This was quite enjoyable and a great learning experience. Most athletes couldn't believe I was old enough to test their hearing, but many thought I did a great job. Last but not least, I love Special Olympics so much because of the different athletes I have gotten to know. One athlete I have gotten to know name is Cole. Cole started out as a very scared and nervous athlete. He wouldn't let anyone test his hearing. Since I was his age, he would talk to me. He even let me test his hearing. Another athlete I have gotten to know is Brittany. Brittany is a gymnast from my hometown, Tallahassee, Florida. Twice a year, I get to go watch her compete at Special Olympics and do her gymnastics. I am so happy that Special Olympics allows Brittany to show the world that you can have an intellectual disability but still be an awesome athlete. To sum it all up, I love Special Olympics so much because of how I got involved, my experience as a volunteer, and the different athletes I have gotten to know. You can have this experience too. You should go and volunteer for Special Olympics today.
What other things do you get to do as a volunteer?
Well, I get to hang out with the other volunteers and talk to the athletes and get to know them better.
Would you like to volunteer for a different sport? If so, why?
I would like to volunteer for another sport to get to know the feelings that the other athletes have for when they perform.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ivan Donaldson from Oak Ridge Elementary. The title of the speech, Homework.
Students, for tonight's homework, you have to do pages 123 through 131 in your math books. Are you kidding me? Another Friday night of homework? I love school, but the worst part about it is the homework. Class do this and class do that for homework. Maybe I should make a fake doctor's note stating I'm too sick to function. I know homework is important and all, but does it have to be so much? Most teachers just don't know. I'm allergic to homework. My doctor told me that if I do too much homework, I'll get a virus called homeworkitis. True story. Homeworkitis is a headache you get when you do too much homework. The symptoms for homeworkitis is you get a bad headache, and sometimes, if it's serious, you could misfunction your brain. My teachers wouldn't even understand if I told them the symptoms for homeworkitis. I don't know why these teachers want us to have tons and tons of homework. I've hated homework since first grade. Don't teachers have anything better to do? We have enough work at school. I could be doing better things at home instead of homework, like playing my Xbox or going outside and getting energized. I could even read a half a book. I just can't get this whole homework thing. Let me explain. It's not just that I hate homework, nor that I'm allergic to it. Once, in first grade, I got so frustrated with my homework, I just ripped it up and dunked it in the trash. Ever since that day, I don't like homework, and I kind of have a feeling homework doesn't like me neither. I'm sure most of you heard of that song, Turn Down for What? Well, homework actually makes me turn down. Truthfully, I don't see why anyone would want to invent homework. Curse you, Roberto Nevelis. You're the one that started this whole homework thing in Italy in 1095. Even though I'm allergic to homework and I hate it, I'll still try to do it for my education, I guess. Sometimes I just say to myself, maybe teachers should get a life.
What type of excuses would you try to give to get out of your homework?
For example, I kind of am allergic to homework, so homeworkitis is an excuse.
Have you ever gotten homework in other aspects of your life? If so, what?
Like math, I guess.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Sloan Finger from Hawks Rise Elementary. Their title of the speech, Real Barbecue and Elusive Meat.
If I asked, want some barbecue, would you say, sure, or no thanks? If the answer is no, I would speculate that you have not had real barbecue. Why? Because if you have had it, you couldn't say no. The problem, real barbecue is elusive. Some people believe that if you take a piece of meat or a certain vegetable and put it on the grill, it's barbecue. Other people believe that by simply adding barbecue sauce to the top of a meat, it makes it barbecue. And even at my old school, they made sloppy joes and called them barbecue sandwiches. Unfortunately, some kids believe them. What is real barbecue? I searched up barbecue on dictionary.com. It read, to barbecue is to broil or roast whole or large pieces of meat over an open fire on a spit or grill, often seasoned with vinegar, spices, salt, and pepper. That is a good start, but it failed to clarify some very important factors. First, to broil or roast over an open fire is not cooking directly on top of flames. Real barbecue is slowly cooked by the smoke rising from a bed of smoldering wood coals in the bottom of the pit. Or it can also be cooked by the smoke from a wood fire in an offset firebox being circulated into an enclosed smoker chamber, which is often mistaken for a grill. As the saying goes, smoke it low and slow. Second, the quickest way to get into a regional argument is to just say meat. In Georgia, pork is king. In Texas, barbecue is beef, brisket. Either way, grilling hot dogs and hamburgers quickly over an open flame is not, just like those sloppy joes at my old school, I repeat, not barbecue. But a whole hog smoked at 225 to 250 degrees for 12 hours is real barbecue. How do I know so much about barbecue? It's a family tradition. Every year we have family meetings, that's spelled MEATINGS, on Memorial Day and July 4th. This has been a family tradition since the early 1900s. At these barbecue extravaganzas, we have Americana music, fun games, and fellowship time with family and friends. But the highlight is a beautiful pink smoke ring on a melt in your mouth, tender and juicy piece of pulled pork. The taste, fabulous. And if you ever had this elusive meat known as real barbecue, believe me, you couldn't say no.
Where do you think the best place to get real barbecue is?
I'd say it's at a restaurant called Dreamland, and they started out with just ribs, sweet tea, and white bread.
If somebody asked for your opinion, what barbecued meat would you prefer?
I'd say I liked ribs the best, but pork comes in a close second.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Amy Kadam from Conley Elementary. The title of the speech, It's Not Easy Being Me.
Yes, it's not easy being me. The Almighty created me full of spirit, ready to explore and conquer. I'm neither especially clever nor gifted. I'm just very, very curious. Okay, now I don't mean to brag about my qualities. They stick out on their own. Being a 5th grade student, I have tons of homework. That's not all. Speech contests, spelling bees, math competitions, and the list goes on. They all make my life challenging, but am I worried about it? No, not at all. Let me tell you why it's not easy being me. Okay, how many of you have an elder brother who is in high school? I do have one, and let me tell you, those who are in high school, they just fly high. My brother is very clever, no doubt, but all of that bragging, give me a break. The funny thing is, he does not brag in front of my parents. It takes a no-brainer to understand why. He clearly thinks I'm a fool and will believe everything he says. I'm younger, not dumb. I know what he does. When he can't convince me, he tries to confuse me. Secondly, it's not easy to be a daughter of a dad who wants you to learn golf. It all started when we moved into a house with a golf course nearby. My dad acquired the necessary skills of golfing. Since I'm the best, he decided to pass on some knowledge to me. I will never forget the pains in my hands and legs, and every shot of golf was another shot of scolding from my dad. Poor me, learning golf with those sticks called drivers and getting anger shots from my dad called golf lessons. I did frustrate him and make him crazy when I hit a few shots straight to live people. Last but none the least is being a multicultural child. It's a challenge of its own kind. I spend my summers in India on a farmhouse, and people don't know English there. But if some English words do pop up while I talk with them, they look at me like I came from another planet. Same thing happens when I come back here. If some words from my mother tongue pop up while I talk with my friends and teachers, they all give me the look. It's not easy to adapt both East and West cultures. It's very confusing, but I have no choice but to deal with it because my grandparents live in India. I have to do this for them. The hardest part for me is seeing tears in their old eyes while departing from India. It's not easy to leave your near and dear ones behind. So basically, that's me. It's not easy being me, but it's funny to watch people try.
What do you think it's going to be like once your brother gets into college?
Worse.
What would you say to someone who says they have it worse than you?
I don't know. I don't believe that.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Kai Washington Andrews from Springwood Elementary. The title of the speech, Batman versus Superman.
Have you ever wondered which one is better? Batman or Superman? In my opinion, Batman is better. Now here's a few reasons why I think the Dark Knight is better than the Man of Steel. First of all, Batman has all the cool tech, such as indestructible robotic armor, the Batmobile, the Batcycle, the Batwing, and a submarine. Superman has all the superpowers, such as freeze breath, flight, invulnerability, heat vision, X-ray vision, super speed, super hearing, and super strength. And he can breathe in space. But when you think about it, Batman's tech and gadgets can do the same thing Superman's powers can do and more. Batman's freeze grenades are like Superman's freeze breath, and the Batwing enables him to fly just like Superman. The Batcycle's turbo boosters allow him to travel at a super speed level, and his armor is as indestructible as Superman's skin. Bat's gas laser torch acts as heat vision, and his sonar acts as X-ray vision. Bat's special spacesuit allows him to breathe in space, and his submarine allows him to breathe underwater, something Superman can't do. Batman doesn't have super strength, sadly, but he makes up for it since he has a submarine, and he's the world's greatest detective. Superman's not a detective, all he does is fight crime. Batman, on the other hand, fights crime and solves mysteries. Superman is not looking so hot anymore, is he? Another reason Batman is better than Superman is because he has a much sweeter hangout. Batman has the famous Batcave that houses hundreds of gadgets, all of Batman's vehicles, and knickknacks that he's collected from supervillains over time. His collection includes a giant Joker card, Two-Face's original coin, and some of the Penguin's deadly umbrellas. Superman's hideout is the Fortress of Solitude, which is practically just an ice cave. All you can do in it is read Superman's memoirs and play chess with a robot. In my opinion, that is lame. So there you have it, a few reasons why I think the Dark Knight is better than the Man of Steel. I hope everybody who was on Team Superman switches over to the Bat side.
What other combination of superheroes would you want to see fight?
Spider-Man and the Hulk.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Zachary Morel from Trinity Catholic School. The title of the speech, My First MLB Game.
Bottom of the ninth, bases loaded. Pedroia up to bat, Price on the mound. Red Sox down by 1. Full count. The pitch is thrown and it's a hit. Deep in the air and it's deep, and it's gone. Grand slam and the Red Sox win. Oh, sorry, didn't see you there. As you can probably tell, I was watching the most exciting baseball game ever. Oh wait, my mom's calling me. I just got the best news from my mom. I get to go to Tampa to see a Rays versus Red Sox game with my cousins. I gotta go. So this is how it began. I got to the stadium. I was already feeling chills. I took a picture with my cousins in front of the stadium. I still remember that moment like it was yesterday. Anyways, I went inside, got our tickets, and checked in, and the next thing I knew, I was heading up to the stands. But on the way, I saw a tank full of stingrays, and you could pet them. It was awesome. Then we got to our seats. My cousins went to try to get some baseball players to sign their baseballs, but I'm a Red Sox fan, and at a Tampa Bay field, they probably wouldn't enjoy signing my baseballs. Anyways, the game's starting. Boston's up to bat first because they are visitors. The worst came. 3 up, 3 down. So we go to the bottom of the first. Come on, Boston, I said. More bad things happen. The bases get loaded. Evan Longoria up to bat. And the next thing I knew, it was a grand slam, 4-0 Rays. And the next few batters go down on strikes. Boston's back up to bat. Ortiz is at the plate and hits one in the outfield for a base hit. Yes! And then the next batter hit one all the way at the fence, leaving enough time for Ortiz to run around all the bases and come home to score by an RBI double. The next batter got a really good hit, but sadly it was caught. But the guy on second tagged up and ran to third. Then there was a bunt that sacrificed an out, but scored a run. The score is 4-2. Gold Glove winner Dustin Pedroia up to bat, but sadly goes down on strikes. I can't remember all of it, but I do believe the score was 9-7. Guy on third, 2-2 count, top of the ninth. Buck Scholes at the plate, and it's a fly ball in the outfield, caught. So the Red Sox lost, but all in all, it was the best time of my life.
If you had to choose, what would your other two favorite baseball teams be?
The Washington Nationals and the Orioles.
What famous baseball player would you like to meet and why?
Bryce Harper, because he's like one of the best.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Bailey Smith from Community Leadership Academy. The title of the speech, Perseverance.
It is very important to have perseverance, because without perseverance, you may not make it through a difficult situation. I should know, because something difficult and even life-threatening happened to me. Let me tell you about it. I ride horses every Thursday, and on this particular Thursday afternoon, I rode a horse named Lily. Lily is very energetic. She is what some people might call a pistol, and believe me, she is. I was trying to get Lily to canter. Oh, if you guys don't know what cantering is, just think of yourself jogging briskly. Anyways, I was in the process of trying to get Lily to canter when all of a sudden my foot came out of the stirrup. When this happened, Lily started galloping out of the field I was riding in. At that point, I was thinking two things. Number one, I'm a goner. Number two, how can I keep myself from being a goner? That's when I decided to just stay calm and wait for Lily to stop galloping, because I knew she wasn't going to jump the fence, which was straight ahead of us. After I went through my plan, which was technically trying to stay alive, I realized there were 7 sturdy, sticky, pointy tree branches at the same level as my face. But before I could duck out of the way, wham, boom, whack, bang, slap, kapow, crash, went all the tree branches right on my face. After that, I felt like I left my face on the tree. At that point, I was crying, not because of how ugly I probably looked, but because I was scared. The moment went by so fast, I couldn't keep up. After Lily stopped galloping, I couldn't help but hear my teacher Tristan scream behind me, "I'm coming, Bailey!" The funny thing about that is that he lost one of his shoes in the process of trying to get to me as fast as he could. When he finally caught up to me, he helped me get off Lily and helped wipe the blood off my scratches. That's when I realized how bad my scratches were. I had a little one here, a long one here, one on my eyelid, one on my neck, shoulder, and chest. But I didn't really care about my scratches. I was just thankful that God was right there with me, helping me to stay calm and persevere through this rough experience. See what can happen when you persevere? I sure do. I mean, think about it. If I would have chosen not to press through, stay calm, and hang on, I would have fallen off Lily. But really, I think the most important thing about that is that I got back on. Remember, perseverance is part of your life, and you're going to run into some hard times. So if you don't ask God for patience and perseverance, where will you be then? That is only one example of how important perseverance is. Thank you for your time.
What are some other horses that you have met?
Rufus and King.
Who in your family do you think you get your perseverance from?
I'm just gonna say my dad.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Danny Alex from Gilchrist Elementary. The title of the speech, My New Best Friend.
Have you ever dreamt of getting a new toy without even asking your parents to give you one? I overheard my dad asking permission from my mom to buy a new toy. I was so happy. A new toy after Christmas? I wondered what that new toy could be. Later that day, my dad came home with a big package. Anyone want to guess what it was? It was a new iPad! I wanted to play in it first, but my dad wouldn't let me. He told me it was his toy and I was shattered. So, I used my ultimate weapon. I started crying. Then my mom took the iPad from my dad and gave it to me. From that point on, that iPad was my new best friend. Fellow students, teachers, parents, and awesome judges, I'm here today to tell you about my new best friend. He is faster, smarter, and much cooler than my previous best friend, traditional desktop. The first reason an iPad is my best friend is because he's fast. It takes at least 2 minutes just to turn on my old friend desktop. You may be scratching your head or exploring the inside of your nose while waiting for it to be turned on. On an iPad, you just open the cover and boom, it's turned on. I was tired of using the old desktop, so I prayed hard to God. God, help me to find an easy-to-use electronic device. God answered my call through the miracle of Apple devices when they announced the iPad. By the way, I'm expecting a cut from Apple for my services to the company and would love to be a millionaire at such a young age. The second reason an iPad is my best friend is because he's smart. He has an app for anything you want to do in life. Do you want to play soccer? There's an app for that. Do you want to play Plants vs. Zombies? There's an app for that. Do you want to know how long you're going to live? There's an app for that. The third reason an iPad is my best friend is because he's cool. He accompanies me to wherever I want to go. He even comes with me to the restroom. He never fights with me, never says a bad word, and no bullying, and is always willing to do whatever I want. Fellow students, teachers, parents, and judges, my new best friend is fast, smart, and super cool. He wants to be your best friend too.
How would you treat someone that you were trying to become friends with?
Invite him to lunch or something.
What would you say to somebody if they were making fun of your best friend?
I would say, shut up.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Anaya Charton from Pineview Elementary. The title of the speech, Rosa Parks, My Shiro.
Do you guys know who I like the most? It's my Shiro, Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks is an important woman to me because she helped end racial segregation. She was born on February 4th, 1913 in Montgomery, Alabama. Her full name is Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks. Not only was she part of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, also known as NAACP, one of the most written about events of the Civil Rights Movement. After a long day of being a seamstress, Rosa Parks headed to the bus stop to get home. When she got on the bus, she headed for a seat that was open next to her friend's father. They chatted for a while. Then a white man boarded the bus and things became confrontational. The white man said to Rosa to get out of the seat. Rosa said, "No!" The bus driver got into the middle of the argument and took the white man's side. The bus driver called the police, and as they arrived to their destination, the police surrounded the bus. Rosa Parks was taken to jail. Rosa Parks didn't mind at all because she stood her ground for what she believed in. As an act of her beliefs, the Montgomery bus boycott was born and became an important symbol of the modern civil rights movement. Because of this, Rosa Parks became an international icon for someone who could stand up for their civil rights. Her acts of fearlessness are the reasons I like her, as well as her beliefs. Her life and her legacy are important to me and others around the world. Just so you know, Rosa Parks was not the first to portray these actions, but was highly commended for them. Mrs. Rosa Parks died on October 24, 2005, and her legacy will forever live on. My American Shiro.
What other figure would you like to meet besides Rosa Parks?
Martin Luther King Jr.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Joshua Coleman from Astoria Park Elementary. The title of the speech, Test, Test, Test.
Hey everyone, I have one question for you, but I'm not just talking to everybody in this auditorium. I'm talking to everybody in the whole world. And that question is, do you like taking tests? I don't know about you, but this guy, I never, ever like taking tests. My heart drops more than you can even imagine. Millions and billions of steps when my teacher says, clear your desk. It feels like all the breath just leaves my body and I just want to pass out. Woo! And my only thought was, no, I wasn't ready. Okay, for real. I don't like taking tests because there are so many questions. Some of them you don't even know they're coming, and they're long and boring, like the FCAT, and woo, that was boring. The ones with so many questions are the ones that we really have to study for. Well, for example, social studies, where we learn about the people in the past and people who did really great, amazing things to change our future. Then you have my favorite subject, of course, math. I like it and all, but honestly, how do you study for a 50-problem math test? Either you know it or you don't. I guess you just have to practice really hard for those. Then you have the tests that you don't even know they're coming. Teachers give those kind of tests a fancy name. Pop quizzes. They can just pop my brain. But they're usually short, quick, and worth a lot of points. So you gotta do your best to get a good grade on those too. The worst tests are the long and boring ones. One look at those tests and they just make me want to fall asleep. They're so long, McDonald's give free breakfast the day of the test. We even get snack and energy breaks, which be like 40 minutes each. And most of the times, some of the questions, we don't even understand what they're asking. I be so confused. In my head, I'm like, all these questions, is it ever gonna end? Even though I don't like taking tests, tests are still very good for you. Whether they're helping you with your grades, gain knowledge, or help you spiritually, tests are still very great learning experiences. So when you take a test, remember my speech and do your best.
What other things may happen if you get a bad grade on a test?
Well, it's punishment from my mom.
What is your least favorite subject to take a test in?
Science.
Thank you.
This is a story of the day I cloned myself. One day, I was sitting in my room thinking how my life would be if I cloned myself. If there were two of me, the real me wouldn't have to go to school, wouldn't have to do homework, and all my chores would be done by my clone. After thinking, I realized I had nowhere to start. So I turned on my laptop and cruised around on the internet. After 25 minutes on the web, I finally found the perfect page. The perfect tips on how to clone yourself. After reading the page, I went to work on making my clone. After adding all my personal touches, my clone was finished. She looked like me, she dressed like me, but she did not have my personality. She was evil. Instead of this being the best day ever, it was the worst day ever. My clone went to school the next day, got me in trouble with the teacher, didn't do my homework, and got me in trouble at home for not washing the dishes. As much as it pained me, she had to go. The next day, I went to the library and read books on how to get rid of your clone. They all had several good ideas, but the one I liked the most had the following tip. To get rid of your clone, you take slime mold mixed with yogurt to hide the mold. I ran home and gave my clone the drink. She started to twitch and she vanished in a flash. After she vanished, I realized my life wasn't so bad, and I had a party, but I still have to go to school, do homework, and chores. But let's face it, there's only one me, Chari, the original. And to all of you in the audience, take it from me, don't try this at home.
What would your website be if you helped other people clone yourself?
Well, it would probably be the perfect ways on how to clone yourself.
Why did you choose this topic?
Because I thought it was really unique and I really liked it. Thought it'd be fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker is Isaiah Johnson from Woodville Elementary. The title of the speech, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
One, two, wait, he's still in it. He's not out. I know somebody that never gave up, even when criticized by family members. His name is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The Rock born to an interracial couple, one being his father, an African-American descent, the other being his mother, an American Samoan. Having the pressure on him to follow in his grandfather's and father's footsteps as a wrestler, seeking one identity out of the two cultures his parents had. Let me say his real name, Dwayne Douglas Johnson. Being a latchkey child, coming home to no one because of his parents' hectic schedule. Having the pressure on him, moving from state to state until he finally settled in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where Dwayne eventually went to high school. We're starting to get out of his father's footsteps by playing football. It just so happened that he got a scholarship to the University of Miami, where he played football but was eventually delayed by a knee blowout during a practice. So he went to wrestling. P.S. The big man Warren Sapp took his place. The Rock decided to acknowledge his ancestors by using his name, Rocky Maivia, until becoming WWE champion in WWE. So, for his domination, he named himself in third person, The Rock, electrifying audiences around the world, becoming the greatest WWE champion ever. Being a role model, The Rock started appearing in television shows, soon adding a contract that was soon ripped up 2 years later. So, he produced and acted in his own movies, just like in the 2014 movie Hercules, where The Rock did an amazing performance. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And finally, 1, 2, 3. Ding, 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 he wins the championship. This is the 15th time he's won the championship, Cole. Well, all I have to say is, do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Which parent do you think that you would follow in their footsteps, and why?
Well, that's a hard question. Well, the richest parent I follow is Donald Trump.
How long do you think it took for him to get in the physical condition that he is?
Wow. Well, he's really old, so he's almost 50 now, so that's a hard question. Well, basically his physical fitness, I'd say 5 years.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Sophia Ryan from Roberts Elementary. The title of the speech, Sophia Ryan for President.
Sophia Ryan for president. It has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Well, I need your vote if I'm going to be the first woman president. To me, being president sounds like a great job. Plus, I'll get to learn more about political parties. I'm running in the 2016 term. If elected, you're looking at the 45th president of the United States of America. First of all, you should elect me because women can do it all. As the first female president, I would do my best to get women the respect that they deserve. The main goal on my agenda would be to work with other politicians to ensure that all women receive equal pay for equal work. Why should women get paid an average of 22% less than men for doing the same job? Most everyone has a mother, sister, or a wife affected by pay inequality. Don't you think the hardworking women in your life deserve fair treatment? Secondly, I want to be the next president because it would be the best job in the world. I'm picturing myself now ordering people around and commanding the whole country. I'm really good at telling other people what to do. Just ask my little brother. Since we're talking about my family now, me being president would really make my parents happy too. Whenever I ask my parents to buy me something, they say, go get a job. So I guess being the world's first 11-year-old female president definitely solves that problem. Think of all the cupcakes I could buy with that paycheck. Personally, I can't think of a better place to store my endless supply of cupcakes than the White House. I will, however, need to make some decorating decisions once I'm in office. I've been thinking for a long time, probably just like you have, that the White House could really use a renovation. We need to update that bad boy and rename it the Pink House. I'd have my own monogramming wing and I'd send monogram gifts to all the other presidents around the world. Monogram gifts make everyone smile and would most likely lead to world peace. I bet you're wondering about my political affiliation. Honestly, I can't decide which party to represent. Did you know that there are hundreds of political parties? The 5 main parties are Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green, and Constitution. Now I really can't decide which party to join. I don't really care what party I'm in because I just love going to parties and being invited to parties. I seriously like to party. So it's time to sum it up and remind you I should be the first female president. I have a clear message and a plan to eradicate pay inequality. I have the vision to make a major White House makeover a reality. And don't forget, I like to party. I'm so ready for this. The country is ready for this. And with the help of you good people, you're going down, Hillary Clinton.
While running for president, what would be your campaign slogan?
If you can dream it, you can do it.
What would be the most important thing for you to change as president?
Well, like I said, the women getting equal pay for equal work. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker is Guanaluca Longo from Imagine School. The title of the speech, Opposite Day.
One day, I woke up and my house was upside down. When I walked out of my room, my mom tried to kill me. When I ran out of my house, I was running backwards. And when I called for Batman, he tried to kill me. Then I thought, opposite day. So I called the Joker and he swooped in to save me. Then I thought, opposite man. He had to have done it. Now I was mad. So I called Super Lulolo and I jumped on Lulolo and told her to fly backwards. She said, why fly backwards? Because it is opposite day. So she used her fast fly to the opposite layer. She also can read minds and has fire powers. When we were at the opposite layer, she burnt through the door. And right then, I turned into Magnet Man. I sucked up Opposite Man while Lulolo pulled the opposite switch. No more opposite day. But when Lulolo came back, she was backwards. It was a cardboard cutout.
Does he have a lair I don't know about? But then I thought, Opposite Man is a supervillain. So for the first and the only time, I called Opposite Man and told him to take us to the opposite switch. But he refused. It must not work on him since he's opposite. So me and Lulolo followed him to the opposite layer. And we were inside. I screamed, "It's over, Opposite Man!" So I sucked him up again while Lulolo pulled the opposite switch. And to test it, she ran backwards. And when she was back, she was forward. No more opposite day. For real this time.
Name one other weird thing that happened on this opposite day.
Naming the superhero Lulolo.
If you could create one other day, what would it be?
Evil Day.
Thank you. Our next speaker up is Rachel Miller from Kate Sullivan Elementary. The title of the speech, Good Advice or Bad?
Oh my gosh, you guys. 5 years. 5 years I've been waiting for this. Ever since kindergarten when I first saw my brother do it, I've been stressing over it. I would ask my mom every year, do I have to do it yet? What if it's not good? What if I can't remember the words? What if it's just too boring? Finally, the day has arrived for me to do my Tropicana speech. Okay. Take a deep breath and relax. All I have to do is remember these pieces of advice from my family. First, my mom's advice. She said, just do your best, Rachel, and that it's all about that grade. No bad ones. Really, Mom? I already make straight A's on my report card. Have to get a good grade on Tropicana speech, too? Thanks for that advice. Now, my sister. Tropicana speech winner in her class and number 2 in her entire school told me to pick a good topic. So I thought, cats. Jellicle cats, all black and white. Jellicle cats are rather small. Nah, not everyone's a cat lover. Ooh, my hobby's dance. Tombe pas de bourrée, glissade pas de chat, jeté, sur nous, templier. Whew, makes me tired just saying it. I bet you are all having some trouble keeping up too. Maybe I could do an intellectual speech about a president. Abraham Lincoln was a... That's a snoozer. Now, back on topic. Wait, do I even have a topic? Why don't we just move on to the next piece of advice from my brother? He was the Tropicana speech winner in his class too, and number 1 in his entire school. He said, "Oh, Rachel, you made me lose my game. Go away." So I asked him again a week later, and he was happy to help me. Probably because he was supposed to be doing his homework. This time he said, "It's all about the performance. I live for the applause, applause, applause." He's a bit of a theater geek. Do your best, pick a good topic, and perform. So much to think about and so much to do. I think my family gave me some good advice, but you can be the judge of that. I'm just going to let it go, let it go. That speech never bothered me anyway.
What do you think the best topic that you were thinking about was?
What do you mean by that?
One of the other topics that you were thinking of, what do you think the best one was?
Probably dance, because that's my hobby and I really love dance, so.
Who did you get the best advice from?
Obviously my brother, because it is all about the performance. So,
Thank you. next speaker is Brian George from Buck Lake Elementary. The title of the speech, Foster Parents.
My dad, in control, tough, sets me straight, and plays all kinds of games with me, especially number games. My mom, she reminds me to stay out of trouble, to be kind and trustworthy, and to do my best everywhere and every time. Oh, by the way, I just described my foster parents. Now, wait just a minute. You probably think I'm adopted, right? Wrong. Stay tuned to figure out who my foster parents are. From the moment I wake up, my parents help me prepare for the day ahead. They then drop me off to school completely trusting that I am in the capable hands of my teachers. They are who I consider my foster parents. Now, what does foster mean? It means to nurture, promote, or encourage. Teachers work selflessly for their students as parents do for their children. Students spend more time with their teachers than they do with their very own parents. Am I right? Teach, discipline, care, and look out for. I know that you know that parents know to do these things, but did you know that unlike parents, teachers are actually trained to do these things? Teachers are a big part of my life because they laid the foundation of my life and I have to build on it. Teachers help us prepare for the real world that lies ahead, and they go beyond the call of duty to show us how to cooperate and work as a team by making classmates interact with one another as parents do for their children. Teachers teach us to stand up for what is right, the difference between right and wrong, and to be good citizens. Okay, now, usual family thing. If we as students fail, teachers, like parents, take it as their very own failure. And when we succeed, they are proud of us. So with all this talk, you can see that parents and teachers have lots of similarities and they make sacrifice for us. But don't you feel the need to do things for them? As students, we can cooperate, respect, and obey teachers. As a country, we can reward teachers so they are motivated and encouraged. Give them all the tools that are needed to help them excel in their job. So I salute all the teachers who have strived to strengthen America's future. Thank you, foster moms and dads. We love you.
Name one of your teachers that are most like your parents.
Mr. Howard, my math teacher,
Why do you think he's more like your parents?
because he motivates me and he encourages me to reach high goals, like both my mom and my dad.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Cameron Stinson from W.T. Moore Elementary. The title of the speech, Balancing Life as a Fifth Grader.
Homework, video games, studying, TV, keeping grades up, sports. These all sound like fun things to do. Even though those sound like fun, fifth graders have to do a lot of other things. For instance, we have to set goals like getting good grades or never forgetting to do homework. This is not the only thing us fifth graders do. We also have to manage time. For instance, there are some athletic fifth graders. Fifth graders like that have to find time for homework and practice. If one of a fifth grader's goals in academics is to get good grades, then they have to study. That is a key thing for fifth graders to do. In result of studying, us fifth graders have to keep our grades up. Studying is one thing that helps us keep our grades up. Another goal that fifth graders have is to meet their AR goal. This is helping our reading grade. if we meet it, so it really helps us. 5th grade is not all about academics. We'll need a break at some point. One way to get a break is to get involved in extracurricular activities. One common activity is sports. Some of the top choices are basketball, football, baseball, and soccer. Another activity is community service programs. I think these programs help us 5th graders get involved in the community and get us prepared for middle and high school projects. One last activity is academic clubs. Academic clubs help us get sharper in school and let us have fun at the same time. In addition to academics and extracurricular activities, we also enjoy free time. I know something us 5th graders really like to do during our free time, which is to watch TV. These are 2 channels I think 5th graders like to watch: Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. They are 2 favorites. Another free time activity is playing video games. 5th graders highly recommend sports and adventure games. A 5th grader's free time isn't always spent in front of a screen, though. Some of us like going outside during our free time. This actually benefits us because kids need some exercise. As you can see, 5th graders have a lot to balance. However, there are great benefits to being able to balance things evenly. There's the personal satisfaction you receive when you get good grades, the rewards and privileges you receive along the way, and the thing that every kid wants in life, happy parents. As for this 5th grader, homework, video games, I choose both.
What is your favorite subject to study in?
Science.
Why?
Because I like the cool experiments our teacher does with us.
What do you think will be different in middle school?
We will have more tests, harder tests.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Breon Smith from North Florida Christians. The title of the speech, My Jobs.
My jobs. Did you know that I work? Really? Can you believe it? Yes, me. I'm 10 years old in the 5th grade and I work. My jobs are school, chores, and performing arts. I work hard to achieve all these things. And now I will explain how these are my jobs. School. Getting good grades isn't easy. I have to set goals. As my mom always says, without a goal, there is no clear plan. I have to study regularly to make sure I understand course material and to prepare for tests. My grades are a reflection of me and my abilities. I always want to do my best and get a good education. Chores, or as my mom calls them, life skills. How hilarious. I have to keep my room and bathroom clean. I also have to help around the house with other chores when needed. I'm not always happy or in the mood to do chores, but I understand it's important. And I have no choice. My personal favorite is helping my mom cook. Learning how to cook is fun. Mixing ingredients, seasoning, and licking that famous baking spoon are all things I get to do. Performing arts. My hobbies are dance, competition cheer, modeling, pageants, and theater. Although my hobbies are very demanding and take up a lot of my time, I really enjoy it. I am free to express myself, meet new people, and I'm always learning new skill sets. I am a bit shy, but showmanship excites me. When it's time for lights, camera, action, I'm always ready for the challenge. Performing arts is my job because I have to practice, and practice to perfect various skills. In conclusion, I don't receive a paycheck for my hard work, but I do receive gratitude, rewards, and acknowledgments. My jobs are now teaching me the importance of education, sportsmanship, and life skills. My mom is always telling me that hard work will pay off, and I believe these jobs are preparing me for my future.
If you had to choose one more job that you had to do, what would it be?
Fashion designer?
Overall, which is your favorite job?
Performing arts.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Destiny Parham from Bond Elementary. The title of the speech, A World Without Boys.
Thank you, Jesus! The boys are gone. The boys are gone. The boys have disappeared from this world, and we don't know where they are. It's time to party and have a parade and shoot off fireworks. I'm so happy that the boys are gone. They have disappeared and they're not coming home. We girls can have so much fun and not have to worry about boys, because there are none. There will be no more toothpaste left in the sink. There will be no more shoes left in the middle of the floor, cause do they stink. No more hiding the remote and watching sports all day. No more hair left in the drain or having to wear a toupee. There will be no more falling in the toilets because the seat's not down. Yes, because there are no boys around. There will be no more crazy phone calls rushing us because we took too long in the shopping malls. Grocery bills will go all the way down. This I know, because there are no boys around. But as I sit back and think about it for a minute, my friend, there is one downside to this. Mankind would end. I do wish this dream come true. A world without boys? Now that would be new. I am prepared for this kind of world. A world that is with only girls.
How do you think football would be like without boys?
Worse?
Thank you. Our next speaker is Sarah Mason Cardman from Holy Comforter School. The title of the speech, Middle School is Going to Be Cool.
Just imagine an open hall, lockers running up and down the walls. Your future awaits. You look down at your new middle school schedule, grinning, thinking about how these are going to be the best 3 years of your childhood. Switching classes independently, having more fun special occasions, and being the head of school. Would you be excited? I sure am. The thought of officially being called a middle schooler just makes me smile. Today I'll tell you why middle school will be awesome. As I said before, picturing me walking down the halls, my books and binders in my arms, and my friends and I are talking, laughing. I'm about to go to my next period. I see people walking past me that used to be immature, but now act their age. You know, a lot of people mature and act older and better when you get into middle school. That's definitely a positive note. What I also like about middle school is that you have classes with a variety of people and teachers. You also get your own personal laptop, as well as having the freedom to walk around campus alone, not in lines, and talking with others. Having just come from my Pottery Barn teen decorated locker, I'm suited and prepared with books and supplies for my next classes. My locker is going to be one of my favorite things about this whole experience. It will be decorated with 3 mirrors for a 360 view, also a rug and shelves for books and folders, as well as teal wallpaper on all 3 walls and the door. I walk out of the hall, headed to the STEM building, and as I walk in, I spot a middle school dance flyer posted on the door. I stop dead in my tracks, reading the date and time. Wait, hold up. Middle school dances are from 7 to 10? They are also going to be delightful. There are other fun events and things to do at school. Sports are a big thing, like soccer, volleyball, basketball, cross country, tennis, track, and more. 11 different sports. Looking back over my years, everything in elementary school has been fine, nice, and pleasurable. But I mean, come on. You know being bigger and older is always the way to go. I do have to admit, growing up is difficult, but it's an adventure of its own. And that, my friends, is exactly why I'm prepared, excited, and happy to be finally going into middle school.
What sports do you plan on playing in middle school?
Soccer, and I'll do dance.
What do you think will improve throughout 5th grade to middle school?
Well, having more freedom.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Taryn Edwards from FAMU DRS. The title of the speech, Being in Control of Yourself.
Hi, I'm Taryn Edwards. I am currently a 5th grader at FAMU Developmental Research School. I know life can be pressuring for us kids, am I right? It's hard enough getting control of your behavior, and then making sure you have a great life now and later? Kill me already. I don't see why I would need to think about this now. I'm not even a teenager yet. But that doesn't mean it's too early on getting a jump on being a star. I, Taryn Kennedy Edwards, present to my fellow peers guidelines for you to be in control. Now let's get this smooth ride going. I'll admit, I can be challenging at times. Take it from me, my friends, and family. Here's the deal. If you're trying to act bigger than what you are, or trying to be something you're not, this speech is just right for you. As for writing, let's stop at guideline 1. Guideline number 1 is, of course, keep your behavior in between the lines. For example, always stay in a child's place when you think about contributing to a conversation between adults. I'll spit it on out. I really need this advice myself. But actually, everyone needs to hear this message, even other adults. To avoid the situation, don't only think about your emotions, but think about the adults' emotions too. Probably some of you are in La La Land right now. But hey, that's okay if you want a restraining order put on you by an adult. Do you see any 32-year-old talking to a 10-year-old about what happened on Saturday night? Come on, people, we're better than that. Meanwhile, for the people who are in reality land, this will probably encourage you to go entertain yourself somewhere else and have fun with someone in your age group. In short, just leave them alone and mind your own business. Also, a big part of being in control of yourself is watching your temper. Most people think it's hard, but surprisingly, this guideline is pretty easy. All you have to do is keep it easy and keep calm. If you feel your temperature rising and you feel you're about to burst, just be quiet and walk away. I also have a tip for the ladies if they're in this sticky situation. Keep it cute or keep it meek. Just remember, watch your attitude and don't cause drama around friends and everybody else. As we move on, we arrive at guideline number 2. Always feel the importance to be yourself. The meaning of being you means to act naturally and don't pretend to like something you don't or be something you're not. It is critical that you be yourself or else you could lose a lot of friends. You don't want people to recognize you as an imposter or even a fake. Kids and adults think it's okay to fib nowadays, but when the ugly and horrid truth comes out, they don't know what to do. Then there's guideline 3. This is called decide what you think is right and do it. Stand up for yourself, whether it's making sure you get treated fairly or refusing to let a bully put you down. And then, what if you see someone else getting bullied? Are you then nice to the bully too? What kind of message does that send? So people all over the world, be yourself, keep your emotions and actions in control, and be the kind of person you will be friends with. If you do this, you'll show the kind of companionship everybody wants to have around them. I hope you all got this message through your thick skulls. If not, you need to get something checked out if you know what I mean. My job here is done, and hopefully you won't need any more guidelines, but I'll be back if you do. Thank you and stay tuned.
What do you think adults think of you?
Aggravating.
What do you think the most important part of being in control of yourself is?
Be yourself.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Alyssa Witherington from Home Education. The title of the speech, Movie Magic.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and this is Smaug, the fire-breathing, treasure-hoarding dragon from the Hobbit movies. No, your eyes aren't playing tricks on you, and I'm not crazy. Smaug isn't actually here. But if we had a green screen behind us, Smaug could be added later, and it would appear as if he'd been here all the time. You'd be able to see every detail of his scaly body as he skulked treacherously across the stage. He would appear as real as me. That's what special effects are all about. They would really make movies magical. As long as there have been movies, there have been some form of special effects. One of the earliest effects developed was stop motion. In stop motion, an inanimate object is moved as a camera is started and stopped over and over again. That's what made the gigantic ape, actually a small puppet, appear as if it were really terrorizing New York City in the movie King Kong back in 1933. And it's still used today, like in the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas. While the green screen is the result of our modern computer technology, it too has its roots in special effects, developed in the early 1890s. Green screen involves a person or object being filmed in front of a green background, which is then replaced with a film of a different background. It's that simple. So even though I'm standing here, if I were filmed in front of a green screen, I could appear to be in Paris, or at Disney World, or even on the moon. In 1975, George Lucas wanted to develop new special effects for his movie Star Wars. So he started Industrial Light and Magic. ILM's use of computer-generated imagery, or CGI, has since wowed audiences with epic space battles, colossal dinosaurs, immense explosions, enormous robots, and even a boy wizard playing Quidditch on a broom, all of which appear to be real, but existed only on a computer screen. Can you imagine what Star Wars, Jurassic Park, The Avengers, Transformers, or Harry Potter would have been like without CGI special effects? So the next time you're at the movies, sit back, enjoy your popcorn, And remember that you're probably seeing things that weren't ever really there. But that's what really makes the movies magical. Come on, smile.
What was the last movie that you went to see?
Into the Woods.
What parts of movie magic was used in that movie that you liked?
I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Malcolm J. from Sable Palm Elementary. The title of the speech, Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover.
Some people just mistreat animals, and you know who you are. But there are a lot of animals that deserve some respect, and they are called wolves. You see, for years, wolves have been mistreated by us. That's right, us, the humans, us. We judge wolves and we don't even know them. Well, I think it's time for a change of plans. So yeah, call me crazy. But if you think about it, I have a point. You could say, wolf boy, protector of the wolves. You know, I can really get used to that. Wolves have walked on this planet since the dawn of time. They have been on this earth forever. But now our generation comes, and if they see a wolf, this is what they think. Ah! Wolf! Run for your life! We're all gonna die! Run! I mean, people, give it a break. But this is what I think. Whoa, a wolf and a cub. Maybe I should give it some food before I judge it. Now, you might be thinking, how do I know what a wolf would do? Or what I would do? Well, I know because I've seen one before. In my backyard once. It was a cub and me. I trained it to come when called, and I was the one who raised it, and my family never knew. And only one neighbor knew, and she was a friend, so I knew she wouldn't tell anyone. And I helped it grow until it left. So you can't say I know nothing about wolves, because I do. You might not know a lot about them, so if you have any questions, just come to me. Wolves are going to extinct people, so we have to make a change. Animals think of us as beasts, terrifying, horrible, no good, hatred, so on and so forth creatures. Trust me, they are more afraid of us than we are of them. We are humans, one of the most powerful beings on the planet, and we have the power to make a change. So could you at least try? You might think of me as just a little kid, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do. I really do. So think of it this way. When you adults were a kid and your favorite animal was going extinct and you thought you could do nothing about it, well, I am a kid, and I can. So could you at least try? And remember, don't judge a book by its cover.
What are some techniques that you use to train this wolf?
You could use the technique of, you could try giving it some food if you tell it to sit or stay, or you could try the hunting technique.
What is something else that you would like people to call you, and why?
If I had to choose, I would like people to call me nothing else really.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Kadarius Brownlee from Riley Elementary. The title of the speech, Man of the House.
This song comes to mind. My mom once described the perfect son as a strong, buff, intelligent, athletic, African-American, smooth skin, sing a good tune, and a cook that can cook out of this world. So now you have my mom's image in mind. Duh, it's me, Kadarius Brownlee. So now I'm going to tell you how I acquired the traits of the ideal son and the man of my household. On a scorching hot day, my mom, DJ, and I were running around the track at Lee Park. Whew, it sure is hot out here. I think we should go home now, my mom said. Mom, can I crank up the car? Please, please. Whatever. She tossed me the keys and I started racing toward the car.
And so I put the key in the car, and the car wouldn't come on. Let me try one more time. Vroom, vroom. Mom, the car won't turn on. I think we're out of gas, DJ said. Do you want to make a deal? What's the deal? If you can push the car all the way down the street, all the way, in under 30 minutes, I will do all of your chores for the rest of the month. Deal. Wait, let me finish. And I'll also give you spot as man in the house. Now I'm finished. Deal. When the 30 minutes start now. In the blink of an eye, I started pushing the car down the road. I looked over my shoulder, and I saw my mom calling for someone else to push the car down the street. Does she think I can't do it? I'm the man of the house. Suddenly, Hulk jumped into me, and I picked the car up and threw it down the street. And my mom looked as if she was in shock. How does it feel to be looking at the new man of the house? And that's how I acquired the traits of the ideal son and the man of my household. You see, it's not only big favors, such as picking up a car and throwing it down the street. There are also little favors, such as helping my sister with her homework, cleaning up, or even getting her a flower. But the biggest treat at the end of each day I can give to her is a big kiss on the cheek at the end of each day to show her that she is loved by the man of the house. Thank you.
Is there anything else that you wanted your mom to give you for pushing the car? If so, what?
Money.
How would you teach your children when you are an adult?
Well, honestly, I don't know. Honestly.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Benjamin Stratton from Killarn Lakes Elementary. The title of the speech, Life of a Water Molecule.
You humans think your lives are so terrible. It's a pity. Well, I've got some news for you. You had better stop thinking that right now, because it is not by a long shot bad in any way, shape, or form at all. Now, being a water molecule myself, I know what the meaning of the bad life really means. Let me tell you why. I presume you all have heard of the water cycle before? Look, I know it's important to you humans, but it is no fun for us water molecules. For one thing, we lead important but repetitive, and I mean repetitive, lives. It all starts one perfectly normal day when all of a sudden the dang sun, who thinks he's the boss of everybody, decides that I and select few other molecules have to be pulled up into the air with a bunch of other guys, only to fall back down to Earth a few days later. And I'm like, here we go again. And it happens all over again. Not to mention again and again and again. Oh yeah, and again. And when we're all up there in the atmosphere, all of us have to join together to make one big droplet. And all of the other molecules are saying, hey buddy, how's it going? And all I can say is, you better leave me alone because I am not in a mood right now. Things out there can get really awkward, really fast. Thank goodness for the occasional down-to-earth molecules that I can relate to. But they seem to be the only ones who understand how dull things truly are these days. Unfortunately, I only meet these guys about once or twice every other cycle. So I am so glad when all of us molecules finally fall back down to Earth and part ways. But still, this part of the water cycle isn't exactly a walk in the park either. Sure, the exhilarating experience is exciting, but that doesn't overcome the fact that you might land splat on the hard, cold ground. Who knows what might happen then? You might get stuck, trapped in the ground as groundwater, or you might get sucked into a mechanical gauntlet of impending doom. A dam! I am telling you, there are hundreds of ways for a water molecule to meet their untimely demise. So I hope you now will stop thinking about how abysmal your lives are because they are a far cry from that. My life, however, is a whole different ballgame. So if you humans ever figure out how to change into other forms of matter, okay, never, I repeat, never, ever transform into a water molecule.
Being a water molecule yourself, how long does it take to go on a whole water cycle?
Well, it varies depending on how long you're up there in the clouds. You know, sometimes I'm really happy when it happens in just a couple hours.
How'd you come up with the stop it?
Well, you know, I know humans, they're always like, ugh, my life is terrible. And I'm like, okay, come on, people. You gotta start thinking.
Thank you. Our next speaker is James Dugan from DeSoto Trails Elementary. The title of the speech, My Mom's 10 Siblings.
Have you ever been in a public place before and seen a family with 5 or 6 kids? You probably think, wow, that's a big family. Well, I guess you have a heart attack if you saw my mom's family. They have a whopping total of 11 kids. That's right, folks, 11 kids. This isn't a blended family. There are no twins and no adoptions. In fact, my Grandma Joan, was pregnant for a total of 99 months. Sometimes I start to wonder about how many diapers she must have changed each day, each week, each month, and each year. I think that's probably a math problem for those mathematicians from a TED Talk. Wait! Before you faint, please don't, because I want you to finish hearing the speech. Neither of my grandparents got more than a high school level education. So I bet you're wondering, how could they possibly afford to feed all of those kids? Well, my grandmother was a professional sale finder and spent many hours finding coupons. For instance, if there was a loaf of bread for a dime, she would stack up on loaves of bread and buy 20 of them. Fact, my grandmother used to work out so she could sprint faster than the other ladies in the neighborhood to get to the meat sale. Everyone loves milk with their cereal, but have you ever had powdered milk with your cereal? This is one of the ways my grandmother used to save money. When the milk jug was half empty, she would mix water and powdered milk mixed together to fill the gallon back up. Hand sewing clothes, passing clothes down between family members, and shopping at secondhand stores was also a big part of my grandmother's life. How can 2 adults raise all those kids? How did they get enough attention, you might ask? Well, my mom explains that it wasn't 2 adults doing all the work. You see, older brothers and sisters would help with activities like tying shoes, riding bikes, and doing homework. They would also take the kids on fun outings like the movies, ice cream shops, and sledding. Not only did my mom's siblings graduate from high school, they went on to be a doctor, nurse, social worker, 3 teachers, 3 business owners, a handyman, and an architect. So next time you're out in public and you see a big family, don't feel sorry for the parents or the children. Hey, they might just be the luckiest family of all.
What kind of places do you go to with your grandparents?
They live in Washington, so I usually go with them to like supermarkets and stuff like that to see where they would save, I guess.
What does your family do for family holidays?
Oh, they're big. A lot of the family members don't show up because we have family members in New Zealand, Australia, everywhere. So they're big though. They're definitely very big. We mostly do them in the middle
of the country, or on the West Coast, because that's where most of my family lives. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Our next speaker is JoJo Smith from Christ Classical Academy. The title of the speech, Why People Say Like and
Why do people say like and so much? You might be surprised to know that the answers are different for boys and girls, and there are things you can do to break the habit. I want you to count how many times I say like and in this example. So we went to the pizza place, but the guy said like no. So we were like, okay. So we said we'd go to like a coffee shop. In a study of college students who were given 7-minute speeches, the average use of like was 11 times, and the average use of was 15. But you might be very surprised at who usually says like and Girls like. One study found that on average, male college students use almost 4 times in 7 minutes, while female college students use like almost 19 times in 7 minutes. Girls also use more than twice as much as boys. This may be because girls tend to be more collaborative than boys. Boys are more fond of The college student study found that male college students use almost 16 times in 7 minutes, while female college students use about 14 times on average. Filler words that begin with a vowel like and just give the talker time to think and fill the space with noise so the listener doesn't take away the talker's chance to speak. Sets up a long pause in speech, while signals only a brief pause. Want to get rid of your likes and ums? Here are some suggestions. First, you have to find out how often you're using filler words. You can get a friend to count for you. Then, understand why you're using filler words. For example, instead of using filler words to fill the space when you're thinking, why not just pause and think? Next, spend time on preparation so your speech is better. Also, slow down so your mouth doesn't leave your brain behind. Last, after you practice these things for a while, go back and note how much better it sounds. This is why people say like and It is influenced by gender, and it is very easy to break the habit once you understand why you're using them in the first place. So I think that I'm done. Thank you.
I was wondering how you got this topic.
Well, one day, me and my mom were in the car and we were driving, counting how many times we were using like and I said that would be a good Tropicana speech topic.
How many times do you think you say like or in a day?
Probably way too much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Tyler Long from Canopy Oaks Elementary. The title of the speech, Elementary School Memories.
Wow, 5th grade, the last year of elementary school. I have so many memories of these awesome and crazy years. As I prepare to leave it all behind, it is bittersweet to know that it is almost over. So for all who know a student about to move on into middle school, take a journey with me now as we look back and remember it all. It all started for me in pre-K, the good old days, when learning was all fun. My favorite things to do were ride trikes and build with waffle blocks. It was here I learned the all-important lessons, like that pink is for girls and that blue is for boys. It was also here that I met some of my best friends who I still know to this day.
From having classes and recess together, competing at Newcomb, fun runs, talent shows, serving in SGA, and being honored at FCAT banquets to working on our Tropicana speeches. We've been through it all together, year after year. I don't remember much about kindergarten or first grade, but my teachers have told me some wild stories. Like the times I've been sent to sharpen my pencil and I was found doing somersaults around the room instead. Then there's the kindergarten musical where I kept on doing the funky chicken all the way off the end of the stage. It was my second grade teacher who inspired us to read like maniacs. It was this year my class soared in accelerated reader points, and I read the most books of anyone in the school. Third grade, awesome! I enjoyed this class so much I just had to go back and be teacher for the day the following year. Our fourth grade marvelous teacher brought out the best in us. She believed I could do well in the Tropicana speech competition, and I made it to the school finals. Winning did not happen for me that year though, but just like the adventure I wrote about kept on trying, I will too. Though there are things I'm proud to remember, there are also the things I might rather forget. Or should I say my teachers might rather forget. The worst was when I decided to bring a shocker to school. When the library lady took it from me, she accidentally shocked herself twice. Let's just say I've had the opportunity to learn from a few mistakes along the way. Pre-K all the way through 5th grade. I've been through it all. Some good memories, some bad. As this journey comes to an end, a new one is opening up. So all who've walked it with me, I thank you, and I hope as we go forward, we will also never forget.
What do you think your craziest memory is about elementary school?
That's a hard one. Well, probably watching the look on my library's face, the person who runs the library's face when she got shocked.
What memories do you hope to make in middle school?
Winning the Tropicana speech again, like I did this year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker is Caitlin Reed from Chairs Elementary. The title of the speech, Songs That Annoy Me.
Are there any songs that get stuck in your head? Maybe they start off as being your favorite song, but soon become like an annoying little brother or sister. My top 3 annoying, stuck in your head, and driving you crazy songs are Happy, Do You Want to Build a Snowman, and Let It Go. First, let's take the song Happy. I'm usually a happy person, but this song has made me not so happy. In fact, I feel crappy when I hear this song. This song has been played on every radio station on this planet. It won't seem crazy when I'm about to say, sunshine is here, but I don't care. Because I'm crappy, clap along if you feel like screaming in a pillow. Because I'm crappy, clap along if you feel like throwing this song away. The next song asks the following question. Do you want to build a snowman? Seriously, I live in Florida. I don't want to build a snowman or play. By now, you're probably thinking I'm this unhappy kid that does not want to build a snowman or play. Well, I have one request of you. Let it go, let it go. Can't hear them one more time. Let it go, let it go. I think I'm gonna lose my mind. I don't care what you're going to say. Let the songs be gone. I just don't want to hear them another day.
This concludes my top 3 annoying, stuck in your head and driving you crazy songs that makes me want to plug my ears and scream. What songs are annoying to you and get stuck into your head?
If you didn't live in Florida, would you want to build a snowman?
Never.
Why not?
Snowmans are creepy.
Who is your favorite music artist and why?
I don't really have one.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Zachary Zingle from School of Arts and Science. The title of the speech, The Cliffs of Moher.
One of the jewels of Ireland is the Cliffs of Moher, which you might also know as the Cliffs of Insanity from The Princess Bride. I had the fortune of visiting the cliffs last summer. The Cliffs of Moher reach a height of 702 feet above the sea. It's a sheer drop from sharp rocky precipices into the raging Atlantic Ocean. Even though the landscape is harsh and rugged, it was amazing to experience the abundant life, ranging from elegant wildflowers to wheeling birds and tiny sea creatures. It is astounding that so many animals live in this cold, rainy, hostile place. The cliffs can seem so foreboding, yet there is life in every corner. The cliffs are host to one of the cutest seabirds, the Atlantic puffin. Their short beaks are pigmented with color and look like pieces of candy corn. Their feathers are soft, puffy, and color black and white. Puffins are small, up to 13 ounces in weight. Though small, they are also tough, feeding on small fish far out to sea and raising their young in warrens along the cliffs. Foaming waves pound against craggy shorelines, yet sea creatures thrive here. In places, the cliffs include wave-cut rock platforms. These ledges are filled with tide pools. Starfish, anemones, small fish, snails, and crabs live in these tiny havens. The water is clear, and underneath the surface boasts a color palette with ever-expanding variety. Grazing animals live here also. Rich grasslands amazingly extend right up to the edges of the cliffs. Ancient weather-beaten stone walls blend with gray rocky fields. Sheep, cows, horses, and donkeys speckle the cliff tops and rolling hills. The frigid oceanic winds have the power to rip apart the cliff's indescribable beauty and still leave it breathtaking. Its arching rock, formed over eons, contrasts with the glistening azure water and vivid green grasses to make a priceless masterpiece. Though a cold, windswept, steep, and jagged place can seem so austere, the Cliffs of Moher are beautiful and rich with life.
What is your favorite bird found at the Cliff of Moher?
The puffin.
Would you ever want to go rock climbing? Why or why not?
Yes, because I think it would be fun to go up it. I don't know.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Abigail Bryant from Fort Braden Elementary. The title of the speech, North Florida Fair.
Have you ever been to the fair? Not just any fair, but the North Florida Fair. Well, I have, and it is amazing. They have roller coasters of all sizes, games, rides, animal races, crafts from local artists, and some of the best food you will ever taste, like the funnel cake. It was my first time ever having one, and it only took seconds to make. Then they showered it with powdered sugar. This year was the first time I was tall enough to ride the big rides. Well, most of them anyway. My favorite ride had to be the fireball. I rode it with my mom, and man, was it scary. Imagine a hamster and a ball running in circles, but much faster. I might have even cried a bit, but by the time the ride was over, I wanted to ride again. So I got my dad and my best friend Julie to ride with us again. I really wanted to ride the zipper, so I waited in a long line. I quickly realized that the line was not moving, so I went to see what the problem was. And someone's funnel cake went flying everywhere. And all the operator did was pour a bucket of water in it. With my luck, I would have probably have had that seat, so I decided not to ride it. I went to ride the Gravitron instead. From the outside, it looks like a pretty diamond, but when you go inside and it starts spinning around really fast, you stick like Velcro. Did I mention there's no seat belts? There was so much to see and so many games to play. Not to mention all of the bright lights on everything. I can't wait for the next North Florida State Fair. Maybe next year I'll be tall enough for all the rides.
What are some rides that you hope to ride next year?
There's so much I don't know.
What would you like to see improved at the fair?
What do you mean like that?
What are some of the rides that you would like to see function more better?
Maybe the zipper.
Thank you. Our final speaker is Charlie Holland from Sealy Elementary. The title of the speech, Why Not Read Instead?
How many of you would like to take a trip into another world? Would you like to meet a dragon or ride on a magical broom? I myself have seen a griffin tear down a building. I have seen boys no older than I escape a horrific maze. I have seen a janitor scoop up a little monster with a mop. I have chosen the faction that I belong in. Today I'll tell you how you can too. Read a book. Let me begin with my reading story. When I was in 2nd grade, I was the worst reader in my class. When I got into 3rd grade, however, I heard about the Janitors series. I started those books and then bam, I was a reader. After those, I couldn't seem to stop reading. My favorites are fantasy books because they truly take me into another world. I also liked dystopian novels. Now I try to be the best reader I can be. Whether you like fantasy or mystery books, any book you can imagine is probably out there. I'm sure that there are authors out there that have put your interests on pages. And one of the best things about it is it's free. You can go to the library and find almost any book you like. The author George R.R. Martin once said, "A reader can live 1,000 lives, while a man who does not read lives only one." What that really means is, a reader can experience so much more than someone who does not read. This can change your life forever. I hope I have inspired some of you to read. Remember that anyone can go from never reading ever to being one of the best. Don't forget, you can never imagine all the amazing stories out there. and that reading can change your life. Thank you for your time, and remember, the next time you want to go play your new video game, say to yourself, why not read instead?
What was the last book you read, and what did you enjoy about it?
The last book I read was... I think it was probably Allegiant from the Divergent series. And I really like that one because of its twist ending for the series.
What advice would you give to kids who don't enjoy reading?
Well, anyone who doesn't enjoy reading probably just hasn't tried it. And I would just tell them to just give it a shot, and then they might like it.
Thank you.
Let's give all our speakers another hand for a job well done. We may have all the speakers stand up and take a bow. Let's give them a hand while they're back. Super job. Okay, so now we're going to allow all of our officials to get a head start, and as they finalize their scores and rankings, they're going to go in the conference room and take care of that. So if you all are free to head to the conference room now. And while they are going, I want to thank our student MC, Mr. Devin Robinson. Let's give him a hand. I have something for you when we announce the winners, and I apologize for the typo for your last name in the book, but he was the winner last year at Oak Ridge, and now you're in school at Florida High. Yeah, Florida High, so doing a super job. So we always like to bring our winners back so we can continue to build on those public speaking skills, because you never know, you may end up being a talk show host one day. So just remember those that help you along the way when you become famous. All right, so now we have some refreshments in the lobby. I do ask that parents, please make sure you go through with the youth, so they don't grab everything. There's just something to kind of hold you, not fill you up. So please, while the judges deliberate, please enjoy some refreshments, and we'll come back here in hopefully in about 15-20 minutes. Thank you. Before we give the results, I'd like to introduce our judges for today, and as well as all of our officials. And to do that, I need to put on my glasses because the words are getting smaller and smaller. I don't have problems speaking, I have problems seeing. Okay, as you all know, we always have to have officials to run this program. Right now, I'd like to introduce our officials that we had today. I'll start off with our timekeeper, Miss Karina Vasquez. Karina, wave your hand for her. Karina's attending Florida State University, double majoring in political science, psychology with a minor in law and society. She's the VITA site coordinator at the University of Florida and IFAS Extension Office, Leon County. She works in our office, and she helps prepare taxes for low-income families in rural areas using Skype. So she's using technology to make a difference for those in the community. So we appreciate her being here today. Our tabulator, Ms. Iman Bethel, she's outside. I think she's coming in now. Iman Bethel is an FSU community ambassador for 4-H. Iman is currently a student at FSU with a major in history and minor in education. As a senior, oh, there she is, walking down the aisle. Oh, you timed that, didn't you? As a senior at Florida State University, Iman has committed hundreds of service hours over the course of her academic career toward youth development. As the 4-H ambassador, she started a gardening and leadership SPIN Club, which stands for a Special Interest Club, which is a shorter term 4-H club that we also do in Leon County. That's where they learn healthy eating and life management skills. In her spare time, Iman enjoys playing classical music on the piano. Let's give a hand for Iman. And for our judges, we'll start off with Mr. Alan McCann. Mr. McCann is originally from Baltimore, Maryland. United States Army veteran, served in the 101 Airborne. Club president of the Seminole Toastmasters Club in 2013. Also a Toastmaster area governor for 2014, now living in Donaldsonville, Georgia. He's employed at Fisher Nut Company as inventory control specialist in Bainbridge, Georgia. Let's give Mr. McCann a hand. Next, Angel Eason. Angel has been a member of Toastmasters International for 2 years and achieved a competent communicator and competent leader status. She is currently serving as a vice president of membership at the DFS Toastmaster. Angel is an attorney specializing in state tax laws and is currently working in the Office of the Attorney General, representing the Florida Department of Revenue in tax litigation. She is excited to be here today to listen to the awesome speeches. Angel, let's give a hand for Angel. And Dr. Jacqueline McMillan. Dr. Jacqueline McMillan is a distinguished Toastmaster and has been a member of the Basic Stars Toastmaster Club for 11 years. She is currently working on her clinical license in social work and has helped us with this contest for several years, and I really lean to her to work with our help to recruit very good judges, the Toastmasters, and we'll continue this relationship in the future. I look forward to working with her more and more. And let's give a big hand for Dr. Jacqueline McMillan. All right, so now we'll hear our results. And I know you don't want to hear me babble on all day. All right, we would like to especially recognize all the classroom teachers in schools who have participated in this program. As you have already noticed, the teachers from each school who participated are listed in the program. Let's give all our teachers a big round of applause. And if you're here, stand up, please. If you're a teacher or representative from the school, stand up. Principal, vice principal. Wonderful. Give them a hand. It really says a lot when you can look out in the audience and as was noted in the speech, see your foster parent out there supporting you today. They could have been anywhere else on this beautiful Saturday. They could have been out at the park, and they may still go to the park. But we really appreciate them. That says really says their commitment to what they do, and we appreciate it. To our speakers, stars and the rosette ribbons, since you are all winners, we want you to have a memento of today. The stars on display have the names of all of our speakers. Please be sure to take yours home. Remember, you are each a special star. And we also have a participant rosette for all the speakers. And Ms. Stephanie is handing out the rosettes now. And so, once again, congratulations for being right where you are right now. Let's give our speakers another hand. We can't clap for you enough. And we're happy to have Miss Stephanie back with us this year. Last year, she decided to have a baby the day before our event. Oh, sorry, the day of the event. So I guess that was a legitimate excuse for her not being here. All right. Okay. In order to recognize more speakers for the outstanding work, we place each speech in one of 5 categories. The 5 categories of speeches include to inform, which means to explain, teach, or give facts. To persuade, in other words, gain support or convince. To inspire, stir emotions, emotional impact. To entertain, humorous, something that makes you laugh, and most original topic. Once the judges determine the top 4 speakers of the day, the remaining speeches in each category I just mentioned were looked at, and the best speech was then chosen in each category. And so at this time we will we'll start with the categories, and then we'll go through the ranking. Okay. And I might add, please remember to come up and get your star before you leave today. It is yours. Ready? Okay. Receiving the trophy for the best informative speech, JoJo Smith from Christ Classical Academy. Receiving the trophy for best persuasive speech, Abigail Bryant from Fort Brady. Receiving the trophy for best inspirational speech, Landon Snowden from Governor's Charter Academy. Receiving the trophy for most humorous speeches, Kari Beamer from McClay. Receiving the trophy for most original topic, Benjamin Stratton from Killorn Lakes. And now for our top 4 speeches, and I also want to add just a hard job our judges wanted me to share. It was very tough. But as they say, someone had to do it, and luckily it was them and not me. Honorable mention plaque goes to Bailey Smith, Community Leadership Academy. Third place plaque goes to Sloan Finger, Hawks Rise Elementary School. Second place plaque, James Dugan, DeSoto Trail. Receiving the first place roving trophy and plaque, and a complimentary trip to our 4-H camp Cherry Lake that we do every year. It's an overnight camp, and we encourage all of you to participate and get more information on our camp and other 4-H programs. And our Leon County representative for our 4-H district competition, which we will have in the month of May. As a winner of this contest, you also get to represent Leon County in our district contest. And that winner is, don't forget to get your stars, okay? Just want to mention that. Please make sure you get the stars and do that, okay? All right. And receiving first place and all those wonderful things that I mentioned is Alyssa Witherington from Homeschool. Once again, we thank everyone for coming out today. Please remember to come up and get your stars and have a great rest of the afternoon. And thanks once again.